No intro this time, I guess.
We'll get there.
Hey, Evan. Hey, Evan. So a lot of students ask, what type of employment can I get?
Crap. What type of employment can you get? Well, there's 4 main types that you're probably going to be dealing with outside of a program like this. There's contract work, there's full-time work, there's freelancing, and then there are things like internships. 4 different kinds. And a very, very common thing that we see is developers or new developers will get hired for long-term contracts, like 6-month to 2-year contracts at a company, and they'll start in that contract role, which normally is up for consideration for a full-time role after the conclusion of that contract. It's very, very common. It doesn't mean you weren't good enough for a full-time role. It doesn't mean you can't get a full-time role. It means that it is a precursor to a full-time role if you do a good job. It's very, very common. It's very common in this industry, not just with coding school grads, but even computer science degree holders. It's a very common hiring practice.
I think it's just because it's easier to end a contract than a full-time employee. Full-time employee has more rights. It's easier for them to sue. So it's a safer bet for the company to do. But honestly, like Evan's saying, it's not bad. That's a good thing, especially because big companies, Google, Facebook, all of them use contractors first. A lot of them hire interns that make like $50 an hour, still doing coding stuff. We've had students hired as web developer, what they call interns. They're not getting coffee, they're just coding and they're making a ton of money. It's easier to fire an intern.
They're getting paid to learn. That's how I like to think of it. They're learning a lot. They're meeting the right people. They're in the right places, and they are getting paid decent money. Now, where this becomes a problem is if you're in a position where you can't afford to not have medical insurance. That's a very valid issue, and it is a problem with contract work or internships. So if you find yourself in that position, if you really just can't swing sticking at a contract for 12 months or whatever it is until you get hired by this big company, then maybe you do want to hold out for a full-time position.
Yeah, it's definitely up to you. Normally contractors make more money. They have to tack that on because of the medical insurance that everyone was just mentioning. So you will get paid more, but then you have to handle your own taxes and you got to save up more and stuff like that. So be a little bit careful, right? If somebody signs up for like a $100,000 contract, it might not actually be as valuable as like $90,000, a full-time gig. So that's definitely some math you want to do. We always recommend that students go for full-time or contract work. That's definitely what you want to get. The second best next to that would be freelancing. We have a lot of students, Evan included, who like freelancing. It makes sense, right? You have your own free time and everything like that. You get to choose your own hours. You get to choose your own projects. It's definitely sales heavy.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Believe it or not, I am a freelancer, which is a very sales heavy position. I do spend a lot of my time on business development, which is just getting new clients or keeping old clients or getting new projects. But freelancing, I love it. I love it because I've gotten to a point where it's earning me what I'd like it to earn me. I get to work on projects that I really, really want to work on almost exclusively. I really like my clients. I'm in a good position, but it took a long slog to get there. You will not start freelancing and be living the Sex and the City life.
You mean like living in Thailand on a bungalow with like one project a month and you're making... Yeah, it's not going to happen right away.
No, you're not going to do that.
Yeah, that would take a while.
Yes, it definitely does.
Yeah.
But it's a great lifestyle choice if you're willing to stick it out and work with it, and you have an immediate family that's able to support you through that, because being married to a freelancer is not easy. Ask my wife.
Yeah, but, I was just about to say.
But truly, if you have all of that in place, and if this is a lifestyle that you want, and if you're able to take responsibility for your own work ethic and your own organization and your own earning power, it's a great lifestyle. It's definitely possible. Now, right out the gate, you're probably going to have to work on projects that aren't that interesting. Maybe they are.
And for clients who aren't that nice?
Absolutely. And probably on projects that don't pay a whole lot. But again, still think of it as getting paid to learn. You're getting paid to tackle a brand new problem, brand new project, which you will be able to show off in your portfolio. A client whom you're going to be able to show off to other clients. It all helps. It all feeds into the business development mechanism that allows you to earn more money as a freelancer. So don't write it off just because it's a $100 contract off of Upwork. If it takes you 2 hours, that's not bad. If it's going to take you a week,
yeah.
No, not unless you can really afford that. But there is no shame in starting small, taking on small projects, and letting the momentum build. It will take time, but you can get there.
So that brings us to the last job, which is intern, which really isn't a job normally. Sometimes you're getting paid for it, sometimes you're not. We've always kind of shied away from having our students do this because, one, they don't seem to realize they have skills that pay a lot of money. Students understandably want to go into internships because they are scared of getting a full-time job or a contract or freelancing. They think that they're not good enough. They think that they don't know enough, so they think they have to jump into an internship. At this point, doing this for years, I've kind of accepted that some students are just going to do that, and that's okay. I'll help you try to find an internship. But I would recommend staying away from them. You already have the skills and knowledge to go get a paid job, to go get a paid gig. At the very least, you could go get go do some freelancing work on Upwork.
Yeah.
You should be getting paid for these skills, and you will be getting paid to learn. In an internship, you don't get paid to learn, and sometimes you got to go get coffee, and you can't do other stuff. It's not quite the same. So I definitely recommend going for contract, full-time, or freelancing. If you absolutely are terrified and you have to get an internship, that's okay. You can go and do that as a last resort.
Yeah, cool.
All right, that's it. Stay tuned for actually detailed work on how to actually freelance.
Yes.